An international student, I really do understand that. You may be asking yourself, can I study medicine in Austria? Yes, it is very possible for you as an international student from any country in Africa, Asia, Europe, or America to study medicine in Austria. But what you really need to understand is that there are certain things to put into consideration. First, the requirements. As a matter of fact, you should first of all understand that the language of instruction in most Austrian universities, not just for medicine, is not English, it's the German language. But it doesn't cancel the fact that you can study medicine in Austria in English language. All you need to do is first, locate a university that has medicine. Secondly, look for the requirements. Thirdly, you look for what you need, all right? Now, let me also tell you that the requirements in most medical schools in Austria are, first of all, the German language requirements, which says that you should have at least a C1 level, all right? Because without the German knowledge, you are going to face a lot of problems in the medical school in Austria. So first of all, the requirements, like I said before, the requirements that is usually needed for most Austrian universities is the C1 level for German language. The second thing you need to do if you want to study medicine in Austria is you have to pass an entrance test, and this entrance test consists of biology, physics, chemistry, and sometimes mathematics, all right? There is an exam that is going to be set or put in place for you to study or for you to write. So without you passing these exams, you cannot study medicine in Austria, all right? Now, the other things you need to know about medicine in Austria, the 7 things you need to know is if Austria is actually a good place for international students to study medicine. Yes, Austria is actually a good place for international students to study medicine. Sometimes you may even find tuition-free universities offering medical programs, but sometimes, or let me say, in some other programs or in some schools, the programs, or let me say, medicine may not be free. Let me put it this way. Now, what do I mean here? If you want to study medicine in Austria, like I said before, first consider the language of instruction. Alright, if you have the German proficiency, that is what I can say for now, then go into search. If you look for a school, because there are medical schools in Austria, but without this German language, you can't study, alright? Again, how do you enroll into the medical school is very important. Like I said, for you to enroll, the requirements for medicine is usually the first thing that is usually very tedious. No, not very tedious, but international students sometimes look at this to be very tedious. There was one time I was talking to a guy, he was like, IELTS is expensive, I don't want to write IELTS. You don't want to write IELTS, but you want to travel abroad, all right? Remember, the money you are going to spend to write IELTS is small of the amount of money you will be spending in this process. So why can't you just sacrifice and do it? That is what some people fail to understand. Medicine, all right, in Austria, needs a lot of attention. Remember, I always say that Austria is not a country where the laws in Austria are somehow heavy, which means if you fall a victim or if you are caught, you are going to be punished. So they want to make sure that their medical students study what is right, all right? They have the best lecturers to teach these courses. So if they put a requirement, make sure you follow the rules, all right? Or make sure you follow the requirements. If you do not meet it, do not apply, because you may not get the course, all right? You may not get the course. Again, understand that studying medicine in Austria, particularly in Vienna, requires students to have advanced skills, all right? When I say advanced skills, I mean if you are, let me say, proficient in German language and your qualification is C1, try as much as possible to go above C1 so that it can increase your chances, not just getting the admissions, but interacting with the people of Austria or with the population. Because remember, you are going to do research. If not research, you are going to do practicals or internships, and you are going to be interacting with people working in organizations or medical facilities in Austria, which is going to need a lot of understanding of the German language. I hope you understand the scope of this, because a lot of times, a lot of international students do not know what they really want. All right. If you do not master the steps involved, you are not going to succeed in this thing. It is very, very obvious. Again, understand that medicine in Austria needs a lot of time. Sometimes most countries in Europe will teach medicine for 6 years, all right? Even in our own African context, medicine, I think medicine is maximum. If it's small, it should be 7 years. So the limit you can study medicine in Europe, especially in Austria, is at least 6 years, all right? Some universities will teach for 5 years, but you have to undergo a lot of practical work and internships as well, all right? So that is another thing you should note. Again, somebody will ask, what is the language of instructions of medical students, or let me say medical courses in some other European countries? Well, from what I know is that if you are going to be studying medicine in so many of these European countries, especially in countries where English is not their first language, understand that, for example, Finland, if you are to study medicine in Finland, know that you may end up needing let me say, a proficiency of the Finnish language, because the language of instruction of most of the lecturers will be in English and Finnish, or even if you want to go for practical lessons, you are going to take courses, or you are going to be taught in their own language, not in English language. Because remember, even in Germany, you cannot study medicine in English, all right? That is the law. Not really the law, but that is how the procedure works. Most European countries will teach medical students only in their own language, the language of the country, all right? That is what I mean by in their own language. So you have to be versed with all of these things and put so many things into consideration, because if you don't, it is going to be disadvantageous on your side. It's going to be a disadvantage to you, all right? You as an international student. Again, also understand that it is possible for you to get a scholarship, all right, study medicine in Austria for free. If I didn't mention this before, understand that it's very possible. Some schools will charge you probably 7,000 euros plus, all right, in Austria. I mean private schools, but most government schools in Austria will teach you for free. So in case you do not find a school which is free, you should just apply for schools in Austria, because remember, medicine is not a cheap course, all right? If you want to study medicine in Europe, in so many countries like Czech Republic, Slovenia, Slovakia, all right, Cyprus, it is going to take you at least 10,000 euros a year, all right? Some programs even charge 10,000 euros a semester. So if you find cheaper programs in Austria, apply for that as fast as possible. Now, if you are looking for the difficulties of medicine, I want to tell you that some medical programs, or not just medical programs, most programs in European schools are somehow difficult, in the sense that if you do not read, you cannot pass the exam, all right? Because I know some people will always be like, the process is difficult to study medicine. Yes, everything is difficult now, all right? If you can't pay attention and study, just know that it will be difficult for you to cope. So my encouragement goes to everybody who intends to study anything, because I used to say this some 10 years ago when I was in high school, that physics is difficult, but at the end of the day, I had no choice rather than to study mathematics and some other courses alongside. So if you want to study medicine in Austria, these are some of the things you should know. And know that the language, like I said, the language is going to be in Austria, all right, in Austrian language, or let me say the language of instruction is not going to be in English. Then you are going to be doing practice in most of their clinics or hospitals in their own language, which is still the German language. Most at times you may even be taught in some foreign languages. It all depends, but most schools will teach you only in the German language, all right? So know that. Then for the practice as a medical doctor in Austria, know that you can always practice as a medical doctor in Austria after you finish your degree program, or let me say your studies, all right? Because already, remember, the 7 years is already enough guarantee for you to have studied or masters the system, or how the system operates, all right? So these are some of the things you should know. Pay attention to this and apply for schools as fast as possible, guys. Until we meet again in another video.